Hola, I am Samuel Rodriguez, CEO of the Borinquenir Congressional Gold Medal Ceremony National Committee, also known as the Borinqueniers. This was a Hispanic unit in the times when units were segregated in the United States Army. To understand the history of this unit, you must first know the history of Puerto Rico military history. Puerto Rico soldiers were part of the Spanish Army during the Spanish colonial time. After the Spanish-American War, the soldiers became part of the United States military. And in 1899, the United States Congress created a law so that they would create and finance a military in Puerto Rico. And that's when the story begins. During World War One, the United States got involved in World War One after militaries were shot. Military firing were generated at El Morro towards a German army, and that's how the United States military got involved in World War One. In 1920, the United States designated the military unit as the 65th Infantry Regiment. The unit fought in World War II. At the end of World War II, the United States military wanted to draw down, wanted to shrink the force because of all they spent during World War II. So they were shrinking the military, and as such, they decided to do one final operation in Vieques with the 3rd Infantry Division. And the 65th were going to be on land, but they would be acting as aggressors. The problem is, the issue is that when the soldiers from the 3rd AD came to Vieques, they were basically wiped out by the 65th, and it didn't matter. So this became one of the motivators that when the Korean War broke out, as the military was scaling down, the military from Puerto Rico, the 65th, was ordered into combat. They go to combat. On their way to combat, on their voyage, they renamed themselves with the battle name of the Borinqueniers. They trained in that voyage to Korea. They trained and prepared themselves for war for real. When they landed in war in Korea, they went to work right away. And that's the legacy. And they earned thousands of medals. They did tremendous work. They did tremendous fighting in combat. And that legacy continued. After the Korean War ended, the unit was decommissioned, and it was recommissioned as the 65th Infantry Regiment, but as a National Guard unit. They became part of the Puerto Rico National Guard. And that today they still have a small battalion of the 65th Infantry, except that today those soldiers are led and commanded by soldiers from Puerto Rico and officers. And that's the story of the legacy. In 2013, I was notified, giving an email, that the Congressional Gold Medal was being considered to be awarded to the Borinqueniers. When I heard that information, I went to work right away, and I did everything I could. So that legislation was introduced in the spring of 2013. By the following year, in the spring of 2014, we had secured all the co-sponsors, and in June 10th of 2014, that legislation became law. From there on, the sponsors of the legislation, the legislators, put me as one of the liaisons to be working, that would be working with the U.S. Mint to help design the medal that would ultimately become the official medal, and that's what I did. And in the summer of 2015, the following year, is when I organized the committee, because I wanted to raise funds, because I did not want the soldiers of Puerto Rico to buy their own medal. So that's what I did. And in doing so, I created a tremendous organization that exists today. As I said, our mission is to pay tribute, promote the legacy, and educate the nation about the 65th Infantry. And that is what we're doing. And we've continued to do our mission. We've done tremendous success. We've raised thousands of dollars. We've done many things for our Borinqueniers. And this year we celebrated the first National Borinqueniers Day. As of this year, going forward, every April 13 is going to be the National Borinqueniers Day. And we wanted that day because that's during school session. Our mission is to educate the children, educate the youth. We want to empower our youth. We want our future Latino leaders to be in all branches of service as military officers and non-commissioned officers. We want the officers of the future to be Latinos, and we want them to have the pride and knowing that they have the back and they have a rich history of military contributions in the United States. The soldiers of Puerto Rico have fought every war. They do it with distinction, pride, and we want to share that pride and educate our future generation. And that's what we're all about. And despite our challenges of funding, because we don't have any funding from anybody but ourselves, we continue to do this work. We have bridges, there's parks, there's named after them. We are doing a lot of things. We're working on a monument. And yes, this year we're going to have for the very first time a license plate from the state of Texas is going to honor the Borinqueneers with a license plate honoring the Borinqueneers Congressional Gold Medal. And that's what we have done. That's what we do. We want to share this legacy. We want to set a model. We want to educate the nation into having this rich history. And that's what we're all about. So I thank this opportunity to be here and describe my story and show the pride and educate our youth about the contributions of Hispanics from Puerto Rico that we have made for this great nation. Thank you very much.